Hello, people of the interwebs and surrounding universes. It's your host here, Emily B, back with another video. Let's hop into this drawing and then I'll start blabbing about today's topic. Just as a side note, today's piece is being done using Prismacolor pencils and some white acrylic paint. And the super duper cute puppy I'm drawing is owned by the lovely lady that commissioned me to do this piece. I'm always forever grateful for commissions, but pet portraits, those hit a little bit different in my heart. Like a freight train of squishy, adorable cuteness. Anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, shall we? I wanted to have a discussion about something I deal with personally, and that is being a creative who also experiences mental illness. Now, at this point, you've probably seen about 20 videos of artsy YouTubers telling about their experiences in the mental health realm. But I still felt it was important that I shared my story. Not because I'm better than any other person who shared their struggles on this platform, but because I feel like there's more to be told. More people should do it, and more people should tell their stories. I'm not here to complain or vent. I'm here to raise awareness and share some tips about how to deal with some rough points in your life through the lens of the creative mind. So let's talk about my brain, shall we? I've experienced some sort of depression and anxiety practically my whole life, but I was officially diagnosed when I was in the 9th grade. I've also been artistic my whole life. I have sketchbooks dating back to 1st grade filled with squiggly drawings of faces and flowers. I think inherently I've used art as a coping mechanism since the day I put crayon to construction paper, which is great. Creative outlets, whether it's drawing or baking or writing or dancing or blah 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 blah, help the mind sort out negativity in a healthy way. But what do we do when our mental state overpowers our urge to create? Where do we go from there? Well, in my experience, I've gone through long periods of creative drought, which I already have a video on, so I'll link that below. Sometimes it's been because of my mental state, and sometimes not. I've come to a point in my life where I'm able to handle my depression or anxiety in a positive way for the most part. But there's still times where it's more than I can cope with, and I just want to sleep all day and seclude myself from reality. I would say those are the worst times that I could possibly ever make art. When I make art in deeply depressed states, I end up hating what I made, and it makes me more sad. It makes me feel like a failure when I can visualize the idea that I like, but my brain can physically not communicate to my hands what to create because my head is so foggy. It's saddening, it's disappointing, so I choose not to go through that cycle when I feel that way. That brings me to my first point. You are the only one that lives inside your head. Therefore, you are the only one that's able to tell when it's the right time for you to create. If you know that you feel disappointed when you paint while depressed, then don't do it. If you know that dancing will make you feel better when you're anxious, then go for it. Using art to your benefit requires learning your own mind. Your brain gives you cues, and that gives you the power to make the shots. That's why I take a day off from art if I'm feeling really down, because my body is telling me that I don't want to do that right now. I still hold on to ideas for pieces, but I actively choose to execute them when I'm in a better headspace so I don't end up feeling crappy. And the end product ends up being so much better. You have to listen to your body and do what's best for you in that given moment. So if holding off on that pottery piece while you go cuddle your cat or take a bubble bath seems like a better coping option, then go for it. There's absolutely no shame in taking an intentional break from creating if that's what you need to feel better. That brings me to my next point. You are not an art factory. No matter what your medium, you are not required to pump out optimal pieces as fast as a cheetah riding a motorcycle. This practice of quick art turnover can lead to burnout, especially if you're already struggling mentally. Unless art is your job, I would suggest making art as you feel inspired, not producing work at a constant pace to meet the fickle needs of the Instagram algorithm. I think that if I constantly post everything I make, I try to do it as fast as possible and keep up with the online community. I end up getting burnt out, I feel like an imposter, and I don't produce my best work. I know a big part of being successful in the art industry these days is being part of social platforms to share your work. But you can't fake authenticity. If you're not putting your passion into your pieces because you don't feel inspired to make them, but you want a picture to post, people will be able to tell. Being you is what attracts people. So if you aren't doing well and need a break from the online world and pumping out pieces, then I would encourage that. A practice that I've found beneficial is keeping some of my work to myself. Though I love posting and sharing my work with other people, I find it makes my mind happy to keep some of it to myself. It's like Drake's kid who he's trying to protect from the world. I don't always want to share my art because I don't always desire an opinion or feedback on it. Now that may sound petty, but hear me out. Artistic critique is a great way to get better at your craft, but some pieces are so personal that the world doesn't need to see them. If you create a drawing that reflects your mindset, but you don't feel like sharing it, that's okay. Or if you're posting your emotional or personal pieces empowers you, then that's fantastic too. This all comes back to my first point. You've got to do what's best for you specifically, and anything you do with your work is your own autonomous decision as the creator of it. Taking back that power has helped me feel more at peace with my work and helped me alleviate some of the anxiety and pressure I felt to keep a consistent posting pace. Now when I post, it's something that makes me happy and betters my mental health rather than adding unnecessary strain on me. Last, I want to talk about inspiration. When you're so low that ideas don't come at all, or you can't set your mind on one idea, but you really want to create something, I would suggest going out and doing something. Sit outside and look around. Draw inspiration from nature. Watch videos of people who are in your art genre that inspire you. Go eat at your favorite restaurant or go on a walk. Art is drawn from life. More living equals more inspiration. So if you can find a way to see something new, it'll not only help you feel less hopeless, but it'll inspire you for new ideas. Also, abstract art is a fantastic way to unlock your mental capabilities. Just painting with colors you enjoy with no particular concept in mind can produce something that's truly calming to an overwhelmed mind. Go off the books with your work, bake a cake without your signature recipe, or try interpretive dancing rather than your normal style. Just let yourself be. As artists, we put so much pressure on ourselves to create work that other people will find enjoyable, which is natural because art, for the most part, is meant to be shared and communicated to others. However, if you're lacking inspiration personally, then you just need to vibe it out, dude. Go with the flow and try to make anything that feels right to you regardless of how it looks compositionally. Revert to a childlike, crayon to construction paper mentality and just make anything that comes to mind without fear. No one has to see it, so if it feels right for you, then that will be a healing experience. Ultimately, I want to ride home the fact that as an artist, especially if you struggle mentally, there are absolutely no requirements for you to behave in a certain way or keep a certain pace or create a specific way. Regardless of your mental state, putting too many parameters on your creations and yourself can be a fast track to burnout town, and that'll make you feel worse. So take it easy on yourself. You don't have to make something new every single day. You don't have to interact online every day. And you don't have to be okay or pretend to be every day. All you need to do is do what's right for you and try to get back into making work that inspires the big Y-O-U. And if you can't spell, that means you, person of the internet. It's so difficult trying to maintain an artistic practice while struggling with mental health. But ultimately, the health part is more important than what you produce. So take care of yourself, kiddos. If you aren't okay, then everything else around you is affected. Thank you all for listening to my little ramble session. I really do hope that it made some sort of sense. If it didn't, then oh well. The dog drawing is still cool. I hope you guys have a great day, and if you're in a dark place mentally, just remember that that one feeling isn't forever. You're gonna make it as long as you keep going. So until next time, guys, much love. Bye!